Unified Magic, Part 12.
So since it's the female realm and I want to vault about, avoiding the horrors there, we've got our Binar orb, and for all of you with the magic kit, you simply put Barachial. We gave you the sigil, give it to you again, just in case. There we are. On a bit of paper, which you can burn. Yeah, there's a sigil. Of Barachial, and you can absorb all the power from the realm. Remember, they're all powers as well. They're all the dangers, but if you can get the powers, you get immense power from the cities which are available. And at the end, I'll go over the cities available from 1 to 22. But next one's Gargophius, one over the priestess. There's the sigil. Which you get again put in your orb. And remember, the more power you get, the more you can do. So with Atlantean Lemurian magic, which uses crystals, you stick in your triangle of art, collect it in the wand in 4-dimensional time, collect it in 5D in your orb, which you then can simply have in your pocket, and powers you up for magic. So you use the clear crystal. Oops. Yeah. Clear crystal in the left hand and the dark one in the right to use the power of the orb, or use the wand for blasting and making webs. Remember the Octonian web, which links up with the webs that the spiders that inhabit the tunnels make, which is an Octonian web. So we're basically taking over the technology of the inhabitants of the tunnel of Set and giving it to our customers. And the Vampire Vortex, of course, is the spell for it is on t-shirt. Numerous t-shirts, got colder as we do the tunnels of Set. It's gone from a sunny day to cold and chill. There we are. Bow down witches, even uber feminist biatches. So the spells, the Vampire Vortex. And as you see, females are mandatory for the tunnels of Set and the Clipothic realm, because it's all female. Left-hand path stuff. So the next one is Gargophius. Let's find out where that is. Gargophius. That's the one. Haha. Which is this one coming down. So you light workers, you move your dat up to there, and you get afflicted with the orbs and the leeches which afflict you. Now we're moving downwards for people with a less frequency. The magicians and the Freemasons and the OT, or the OTO will be down here, but Illuminati and Rosicrucians, a whole range of them, and the Wicca witches. Right, let's see what disease you've got from entering this realm. Wow. There we are. According to an initiated tradition from which Blavatsky drew much information, the atavisms of Lemuria, a stratum of larval and pre-human consciousness long antedating even the epoch of Atlantis, swarm upon this path. 13, so this is your 13 path. Remember, we've taken off the 10s, 3 on our diagram. in monstrous shapes reminiscent of yet vastly more hideous than the natural lemur. Lovecroft hinted at them more than once, and the idea of them prompted him to observe there is about certain outlines and entities a power of symbolism and suggestion which acts frightfully on a sensitive thinker's perspective and whispers terrible hints of obscure cosmic relationships and unnameable realities behind the protective illusions of common vision. The unnameable realities are denizens of the tunnels of Set, which swarm with shells and shadows of things that have not yet been identified, but which tend to become. Their subtle stresses in the ether are mirrored yet unmanifest latencies of the magician himself. The fluid plasma of the astral light that permeates the tunnels is alive with a potential that becomes manifest only when it comes to the surface of the tree, splits into myriad forms, and swarms through the black hole in space represented by Dath, the gateway to the abyss. The manifestation of the non-manifest is effected, magically speaking, via the lunar current, which characterizes the high priestess of this Kala in her vaginal, unawakened or dreaming phase. So one can see female needed, hence the Binar orb which I use. The disease typical of this path is not surprisingly subsumed under the general label menstrual disorders. So all of you light workers will have totally screwed up female problems, let's put it that way. But it should be understood that whereas this disease is applicable to the path, the corresponding disorders obtaining in the tunnel beneath the path comport disorders of the lunar current itself. So all of you witches who use the lunar current, which is witchcraft, Hecate's power, are all screwed, because you're using the booby-trapped Kabbalistic trees and you don't have the technology to use the tunnels of Set, even if you had the right map. So you get all the mad witches, which of course totally is specified by Katy Perry and Ratboy Bloom. She knows he's a Lotharian and will sleep with anything, including Romanian dogs, but she has to marry him. Anyway, continuing. So the corresponding disorders obtaining in the tunnel beneath the path comport disorders of the lunar current itself and the consequent spawning of Lemurian horrors. So you females will get things entering your womb and breeding in you. Nice. All astral horrors. So please go to this path so you can have things going up you and living inside you. And making you nice, fat, old and ugly, and then they come out again, discharge and possess you and everyone around you. Oh, it's all good stuff. This is substantiated by the magical weapon of the path, the bow and the arrow. Let's see which tarot cards on the opposite side. Ta-da! Oh, it's the High Priestess on the opposite side. So it would be the opposite of the High Priestess, opposing her. A 1/over High Priestess. So instead of evolving, light working, it's an engine for damnation. So all the light workers are contaminating everything around them, turning the world into, well, the place it is now. Anarchy, destruction of the environment. So as you can see, all the Wiccans and light workers are all 1/over High Priestesses, destroying everything with their magic. Well, this is supposed to evolve. So they're engines of devolving into the Klipothic path, and they don't even know it. In the tarot trump, the high priestess is shown with a bow and arrow across her thighs. The bow is also a glyph of the rainbow, which has a direct mystical connection with the lunar formula. Hence Taylor Swift and her Me video with the rainbow fountain thing at the end of her video, where she's linking in to the rainbow, which has a direct mystical connection with the lunar formula. Luckily, the woman hasn't been heavily into all the Kabbalistic stuff, and one of the so-called Illuminati high priestesses like Hillary Clinton and Katy Perry and Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande and Beyonce and Madonna. So as you can see, she hasn't been screwed up like the rest of them. And of course she's been following my stuff, so she gets the right technology. There we are. Oh, here we go. And here's a good chance to give you the first 10 paths of the tree are attributed to, if you're into planetary stuff, we'll be going into that when we do magic, rituals. So the first one's Earth, second one's Lunar, third's Mercury, then Venus, then Sol, then Jupiter, then Mars, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. So this Kala is thus essentially the very peculiarly time one, Chronos time and chronotypes, which are linked into this pathway. And it's got the dogs barking mad. It's good, isn't it? Next one. I love it. Dagdiel. Dagdiel. One over the Empress. Yeah. It's the old sigil. Let's see where it is on the diagram. Dagdiel. Ah, it's a cross. Four. One going across. Let's write it down. So I'll write the names up. Go fierce. And number 4 is yeah. One over the Empress. Oops. For what would be resisting the Empress tarot card. Yeah, there's the Empress. Very pretty in a Victorian way, aren't they? You can see they're Victorian cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at that one. Aha. So this is the cosmic power zone of Venus. The tunnel backs the first reciprocal path on the tree of life. Its infernal counterpart is the base of the pyramid, which when inverted is balanced upon the point of the Ain in the void of the abyss. Ain is the Kabbalistic light. Power comes down via Ein Sof Or into the Kabbalistic tree. And this one has the woman of the night associated with Lilith. And possesses the mark of the Scarlet Woman, which comes from Game of Thrones, the Red Witch. So the Scarlet Woman is symbolic and a denizen of the tunnels of Set. And let's look if there's anything that's afflicted you, light workers. Ah, yes. Here we find the cosmic power zone of Ududua from the Negro Negro technologies to use C and H space binar, and that of Onse or Anansi Chokma symbolized the spider, which later became the supreme symbol of the cult of Obi Obeah. So here we find the spiders which infest the tunnels of Set. What do spiders do? Let's look up spiders. There we are. Spiders, dark symbol of Typhonian mysteries, crazy symmetry of webs span abysses of inter-betweenness. Spider queen of space spins a web creating 256 windows into other dimensions. Transmission towers in the void, pulsing extraterrestrial energies that erode, then mutate human consciousness. Which explains why humans have gone batshit crazy. The more people exploring these, the more light workers and Illuminati and Freemasons can mutate and erode consciousness to produce the snowflake.
Just wondering why when Windows first came out on Microsoft it had 256 colours.
Yeah, linked up with the Queen of the Spiders. Tons here. Here it is necessary to draw attention to the symmetry of the spider's web. In the tunnel underlying the 14th path, herefore, of the web is not structured upon a plane surface, but occupies various planes, so that from the point of view of an observer working upon this path, the crisscross filaments produce a crazy geometry. From within the tunnel and viewed from behind the tree, however, the web is seen to form with infinitely tenuous threads of gossamer light, that curious apertures of darkness that admits to gulfs of space between the back and front of the tree. At the midmost depths of this tunnel, the primal magical spell was cast, and the first of all magical circles, webs, was formed. It is here that the snake and the spider meet in one symbol. The snake, of course, link up with dragons, the dragon energy, and of course the spiders, which in this realm use the dragon energies, unless of course you stamp on them or kill them. The snake is the lunar current from which the male Onse weaves his web. Cirque, symbolized by the scorpion, thus unites the spider and the serpent in one glyph. Next we go on to, in this tunnel, therefore, that appears as the pyramid, we've got a web of filaments, so this is where we really get into the spiders. So as a light worker, as one can see, raising your frequency, go in the fourth path, get infested with the spiders that erodes and then mutates your consciousness, and then you get your soul stolen and your body taken over with the channeling, as we've explained, and the opposite side. The spiders, there we are. The spider's web is the network of tunnels that leads to other dimensions. For what appears as mere indices on a flat plane, when the spiders emerge from its hole, are in the depths of the earth, intraspatial voids and dream-spanning gulfs of cosmic immensity. So the Obeah and the Wanga are therefore the dual modes of transformation, whereby the human entity is translated into further dimensions via the vortices of the void. Disease typical of this 14th or 4th we've got there, Kala, are syphilis, gonorrhea and nymphomania. All the sexual diseases of the so-called Epsteins of the world, with their dungeons, sex dungeons, and the Weinsteins of the world, with their forcing themselves on females, and all the other sexual nastiness.
Joe Biden.
Oh, Biden, Feely Biden, yeah, as one can see. And all of the gurus with Nixium, remember the Nixium cult, branding the pubes of the sex slaves, and they have to, worship the great guru master with his sex slaves, all funded by the Rothschild family's cousins, the Bronfman Jews in Canada. So as one can see, they're all fully afflicted. The Bronfmans certainly have been fed into the meat grinder. Yeah, and afflicted by this pathway, and their consciousness eroded and mutated. So please, light workers, keep feeding the sausage machine, because I like bratwurst. There we go, through. No. Next we go to number 5. Put the orb down. There we are. Number 5. There we are, number 5, Hermetorith. 1 over the star. I'll show you the tarot card in a second. Let's find where it is. Oh, it's on the wrong side. Let's go to the other side. So number 5 is here. Yeah. So, Hermetorith, 1 over the star. 4. No, number 4. Oh, yes. Now I understand. Now one understands. So here we've got a Hermetorith, which is that path, which on my book I've got 1 over the star, and in the A-Weight book we've got the Emperor, because they had a fuck up with a couple of card positions and changed them around, but that's another story. Stick it down. Anyway, there's the sigil that you stick in your triangle of art to bleed it dry, to take all its power with the wand and the orb. Is illuminated by the colour of the star, known in the Book of Thoth as the daughter of the firmament, the dweller between the waters. Book of Thoth, written by Crowley. And let's look at what afflicts you, light workers. In the Magical Revival, this is one of his books, it's been shown how Shaitan, another aspect of the beast. Let's give you the definition of Shaitan. I'm going to explain Scarlet Woman. This is where Scarlet Woman, a name given to a certain class of women chosen for her ability to transmit the vaginal vibrations of Babylon. She is called Scarlet because red is the colour or kala of the lunar current in its Martian phase. Red Witch from Game of Thrones. And where are we going? Shaitan. The Chaldean form of Set. Set is the entity that's in these tunnels. The god of the Yazidi, whose stellar representative Sothis announced the rising of the river Nile. Shaitan, as the star of Set, therefore represents a deluge of water's blood that embodies the Ophidian current in its feminine or primal form. And the Yazidis worshipped Shaitan, and of course the Yazidis were sacrificed on a massive scale and tormented and raped and done in by ISIS in Iraq and Syria, proving that these dark forces themselves are being sacrificed. The culprit there will remain unnamed. Continuing. In the magical revival, it has been shown how Shaitan may be invoked by the magical use of this current. Set was the first male born of the mother and the 8th after the 7 stars or souls. He was considered by the ancients therefore as the height or fulfillment of the mother. This explains the cryptic utterance that Venus is transcended in Sothis, for the child Set transcends the mother in the sense here indicated, which of course links up with Rosemary's baby, and having your baby possessed and taken over by entities from this path. So this is the path where you light workers have your babies possessed by shards of shaitan. So you have drug-addled, lazy, nightmare children who fuck up their life and are total waste of space. So please, all of you light workers and witches and the rest, please have many, many babies. So we can see the baby plan for the Bloom and Perry marriages, total drug-addicted fucktards, all possessed by aspects of Set, which torment their parents and feed the great Lord Vampire and his vampires, the Black Brothers. So as you can see, zero-sum game. Light workers, Illuminati, Rosicrucians, OTO, all the rest lose. Someone has to gain. I'm just explaining that control of the tunnels of Set gives a ipsissimus like myself immense power. And for our customers, you can simply stick the energies into the orb via the Triangle of Art. The stellar energy that flashes its light through this tunnel is symbolised by the dog star Sothis, and the nature of the child born in this cell of Hemetherith is satanic in the sense that is procreated by a magical method involving the use of the Eye of Set. So I explained on the Rent Show, being the eye of the Illuminati pyramid, I control the timelines that the edits, which are the normal humans, just vanish and become new edits, just control what happens in the pyramid, which is the established real world. So the Eye of Set is the eye of the primal observer, which of course is the ipsissimus myself, who controls what happens in reality. And of course all of the satanically corrupted children using this energy are all fucktards, drug-addled, moronic garbage, which would define a lot of the A-listers' children who are heavily into Kabbalah. The Behemeron, meaning the bestial, are the clip-off of this Kala, and the name refers to this magical formula. So you can see all the A-listers' children are possessed by the Behemeron, the bestial. That's why they're all drug-addled animals. The goddess Iemoja also belongs to this path. Her name means the mother of fish. And as I explained before, fish means demons. So you get demon-infested children from being unlucky enough to venture into this side of the tree of death. It's good, isn't it? Begins to explain why all of these Kabbalistic people, like the A-listers, are so completely and utterly screwed up. And the children are even worse. Next one is Orions. Yeah. 6 Orions. Which is 1 over the Hierophant. Get these bloody cards right. There we are. Yeah. Right there. Ta-da! Now let's see what afflicts. I'm going to find number 6. I think that should be 6 if we've got any sense and rationale to the matter. But let's look. These occultists have got no rationality in their head. Number 6. Oh yeah, no, I was right. Number 6 there. I knew it. Fucktards. Right, let's continue. The number corresponding to the astral dimension of this Kala is 45, the number of ADM, man. He is one of the entities accompanying Lilith in the spaces between the south and east cardinal points of the zodiacal Clipoth, at the centre of which is the evil angel Samael. Within the inverted dimension of these spaces stand the thrones of Samael. Before this stands the altar on which is stretched the nocturnal Lilith, mother of abortions. So in this pathway, a man gets afflicted by Lilith and Samael. Lilith was the first wife of Adam, and would be characterized as your super bossy female who left Adam because he wanted to be dominant, so he got Eve, who is the submissive female. And Lilith became evil because she was pissed off with man and therefore was out to afflict him. So your archetypal female who is super bossy and takes no shit from men would be Taylor Swift. Obvious. She's been tormenting Calvin Harris and fucktard actor with I Love Taylor. Never remember that wanker. That plays Lockie.
Oh,
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, wanker. And now she's got her bitch boy,
Joe Alwyn.
Al Owen, who does what he's told on demand and stays in the background. It's continuing to look at. So in this tunnel we got the excremental refuse of the abortions of Lilith.
Nice.
And the Hierophant becomes, in the tunnels of Set, the judge of the dead, whose symbol is the jackal. The howler in the haunts of the dead. Howler stands for Goetia, so there are 72 goetic demons, which we're going to go over next time, and they link up with the tunnels of Set, 32 paths, 32 Goetia, Clipothic, 32 paths, and a further 32 Goetia, making 64. And then of course we've got the Yasodic doorway, where we bring that down. Eight dragons, serpents to get in there, and here we've got another 8, but the 8 Goetia, making 72 Goetia, all of whom are going to be fed into our triangle, bled dry, and give all our power to our customers. So we feed off all of the infernal forces to power us to become the supreme magician. Safe, and basically bringing in the American mode of dealing with the original inhabitants of a territory. So with the white man going into America and killing off, taking over all of the power territories of the so-called American Indians, the denizens, the Goetia, tunnels of Set lot, to feed us, the American way. Full spectrum dominance. So as you can see, we're not worshipping these things, we're simply bleeding them dry to power us. Why? It's called progress. And the eater of dung in the day of be with us. So that's the first place you'll meet the Goetia. Think of it as their Starbucks. So the Goetia will flock to you in that tunnel, and as you can see, that's the left-hand pillar, evil one, and this one's the good on the tunnels of Set side. Next we go to number 7. As you can see, we've got 22 of these.
7. I'm interested in 7 because that's the one that Homer Simpson went through.
Was it?
Yeah.
What happened to that Homer Simpson one?
What? When he went in?
Oh, I saw the big spider.
He
Yeah.
went in, saw the big spider, and then jumped out through a smaller window, hit the ground because his friend was waiting for him outside, but he drove forward saying, "Oh look, is that Princess Diana?" "Oh no, it's just a pile of rags." It referenced to a tunnel because she died in a tunnel.
Yeah. Well, of course, her being slaughtered in a tunnel
Yeah.
was, of course, to slaughter her in the symbolic tunnels of Set.
Yeah.
And I think that tunnel was worshipped by worship underneath the worship place of worship to Diana, wasn't it?
And Marie Antoinette.
Marie
There was
Antoinette.
a thing above the top where she died on the stone, and that was a marker.
Which would be
where
Venus.
Marie Antoinette
Remember we
was
talked about the
beheaded.
tunnel which was dedicated to Venus,
Yes, yes.
which is Dagdagdiel. This one. Dagdagdiel 4. So that would have been the symbolic tunnel in which Diana was slaughtered by the Illuminati.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. And that's associated with the pyramid in the magic light or fire snake suspended from a gallows in the form of the woman of the night, whose vagina, Daleth equals door, is here reversed. This peculiarity shows that she is an initiate of the highest sexual mysteries and that she possesses the special mark of a scarlet woman. So as you can see, that was the place in the tunnels of Set to sacrifice Diana.
Just remembered something. The door that Homer Simpson went in was 7B.
Yeah, Universe B.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, blue door.
All aphrodisiacs and all soft voluptuous odours are attributed to this Kala, the presiding deities of which are Hathor, Aphrodite, Caprice, Kotioto, and in the tantric systems, Lolita, the sexual aspects of Shakti. That's where Diana was sacrificed. So as you can see, that was a huge ritual with the diseases typical of syphilis, gonorrhea, and nymphomania. Sex energy, bleeding the female, blah blah blah. So one can see why she was murdered there.
Yeah.
Big Typhonian ritual.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. You're starting to be educated in the real world, thanks to Celestial Paladin. I wouldn't have even brought that up. As I say, the Crown won't be happy about that, so it's his fault, not mine.
Oh crap.
I wouldn't have said it. It's his fault. Don't blame me, I wasn't going to mention it. He mentioned it. There we are. So this one's the inverse of the Lovers. So as you can see, this is of special interest to me because I'm using Ratboy, Bloom and Perry as the inverse Lovers. The Lovers and the inverse Lovers. So we'll see what delights await us in the 7th one, and I've got to find it. these fucktard occultists just stick it higgledy-piggledy. That's it. There we are. We've got the lovers down there. Bit of BDSM love down there, I think.
This is her patch.
Cookie's having a go.
Oh.
Yeah. You own this patch, don't you, Cookie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, it confused me. I was wondering. I thought that one, but so the other side. That's it.
Yeah.
It's confusing, these wings. There we are. 7. So that's going from the other side, Binar, to Tiferet, which is the male. Lives in Tiferet Val. That's the upper hay, but on the back side. So here we reach the astral shells left by those who had made the crossing and transcended the abyss. Transcending the abyss, yeah, so Ipsissimi, Magister Templars, Magi transcend the abyss and leave their astral shells behind. What does that mean? It means when we jump the abyss, we leave all the shit in astral shells which trap us in the Klipothic realm, because the Klipothic realm is the realm of astral shells. So if we dump it, we can go in the Klipothic realm, but we can't, there's nothing to hold on to, because all of the astral shit, the shell which traps awareness in eternal torment, is dumped when you jump the abyss. And you can jump the abyss on the front side to be an Ipsissimus, or on the back side to become the Ipsissimus of the Black Brotherhood. I have done both, and the astral shell which traps you in eternal perdition, basically the thing that traps you in hell, it's dumped, it's gone. So there's no way I can be hellized or trapped in hell forever. And that, of course, is something we do to initiates when they come to my 007 seminars. You can try it on your own if you want. And of course, on the front side, Shugal stops you. So it's not actually Coronzon that stops you jump the abyss on the front side. And let's Shugal, the desert fox symbolic of Set, the male half of the beast, 666. The number of Shugal is 333. And Coronzon, which is on the back side here, and tries to stop you. Coronzon, one half or aspect of the beast 666, the guardian on the threshold of the unknown universe, or universe B. So all of the people that do light working, Kabbalah, Freemasonry, blah blah blah, they've all been fed to Coronzon. We didn't talk about that, but they have. The number of Coronzon is 333. It is thus the feminine half of the beast, whose other half is the desert howler Shugal. Now we come to the inverse lovers. That's 7. So the energy that powers the lovers of the 17th path in the tunnel beneath it has been transformed into RPVHT 292 in Gematria, or drug of death, that is represented by the blackbird of Set and the black pig of Typhon. So that means all of these drug-addled wankers who are fucking, which seems to be everywhere, all powered by this path. Drug-addled and screwing away, which would perfectly define, would it not, all the A-listers. And we've got here Osiris is the mummy, the dead one who is reborn in the spirit world, having been conceived by Isis and brought to birth by Nephthys. It is from this tunnel that dark forces emerge and seek from the abyss of non-being permeating the power zones of manifestation with the shadows of their absence. This doubling or doubling with light and shade is typified by symbolic hybrids such as the magpie, the penguin, blah blah blah. So have you on your picture seen any sort of dark light?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the dark forces from this region. And it's basically the opposite side of the lovers, that lover's force, but the one over. The order of Qliphoth ascribed to this realm is the Salalimayron, the Changers. The supreme totem of this tunnel is the hyena, and this realm is haunted by votaries of the Bulta, or spectral hyena. The magical vibration of the hyena cult was concentrated in the mantram Bultingen, or verb meaning I transform myself into a hyena. This was the atavism assumed by the spectral shape that formed itself of the elements of the 17th Kala, when the twin powers of love and death were fused into one image. So basically it is beastifying the lovers into the hyena atavism, and in the hyena you've got the female in charge of the pack. So a female's got a large clitoris which looks like a penis, and we've got love and death fused together. So this would ascribe to the Perry-Bloom marriage, where Bloom simply does what she says until they get married, and then he can take their money, take her money. So the cult of the spectral hyena persisted when all other forms of its god had perished, and certain magicians and dreamers have received intimations of existence through the centuries. Dr. John Dee, who first called it down from the spaces of death in historic times, named it Coronzon. Aleister Crowley, who contacted it in our times, called it Coronzon, while H.P. Lovecraft sensed it as the monstrous and amorphous slime known as Yog-Sothoth. So basically, this creature feeds off the lovers. So we have the opposite. So couple get together, supposed to be in love, but they get the opposites, fighting each other, breeding horrible children, and are fed off by Coronzon, which of course would give you the perfect example: Johnny Depp, Amber Heard marriage, or
Brad Pitt
and Angelina Jolie. Brad Pitt and Angelina, see, all have been into that. And remember, Angelina's been into heavy high priestess stuff, and Johnny Depp's certainly been into it. And according to a secret grimoire, the beast was called down not from known spaces, but from cells between them. The Qliphoth. Now let's see what else we got. The tunnel of Zamradiel is under the aegis of the forces of Shugal Coronzon in their voodoo forms of Baron Samedi and Guido Nebo. The Baron represents the saturnine aspect so one can see that in voodoo, Baron Samedi and Guido Nebo are worshipped by the Negroes who do their voodoo, and that's incorporated of course into Santaria. So these things that here, the Bultu is neither human nor animal, but an astral manifestation that feeds like a vampire upon the essential oils of its victims. More things that feed off you. What's an essential oil? Well, think of a young, youthful woman having its oil sucked out, to turn into the horrible hags that abound in the world. You can just see them walking in the streets. Young and youthful turned into hags by the Bultu. So you can see why all the A-listers need their facelifts. As the spectral hyena, it fascinates by its glance and then slates its lust for blood as the Ganin goop, or serpent of Ob. It drinks, I love this stuff, the actual plasma of its victims' vitality, bioplasm. Mingled with the menstruum of the priestess who has drained it into a chalice. You know, similarly, Baron Samdi draws sustenance from his victims in many forms, thus perpetuating a lingering half-life in dimensions outside the range of normal consciousness, but accessible to those who know the sacred alignments and know how to vivify the sigil of the Bultu, the sound of whose mantram can open the pylons of Shugal. So we simply screw all that, stick in our orb, feed me, you bastard. But that's why light workers and the rest rapidly age and become horrible looking. So loads of light workers are old, fat and ugly. Why? Because they've been fed off by the Bultu. Especially this part, Binar to Val, Tifereth, the lovers. So all of the light workers who've had lovers have been on past 7. The same with Eyes Wide Shut. They're doing their big sex rituals. They're being fed to the Bultu, rapid aging. So Wide Awake with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman is symbolic of feeding them. And here, of course, we see the dog wanting to feed off the little kiddie. Dog suddenly becomes aggressive and wants to bite little kiddie because it's getting into Sam Radiel. See, they got mad. It's brilliant. Feed, feed. See, feed.
Oh God, movie.
No, it's the fall.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
The dual nature of the symbolism associated with Zamradiel accords with the nature of the Bultu. The dogs love Bultu. It means it's getting them into the kill, bite, feed off little kiddies mode. She has to run away with, is that a mother or something? Which, being of another dimension, is neither flesh nor spectre, white nor black, human nor beast, but a combination of hybrid entities far surpassing in horror those described by the ancients as the product of a natural congress. The hyena is symbolic of all half-lives, all twilight and crepuscular states of consciousness, all crossed breeds, interweaving, coiling, worming their ambiguous images into flesh and branding with the mark of the Bultu the myriad forms it chooses as its vehicles. This accounts in a phenomenal sense for the ominous appearances and banshees, the legendary beings described to this path in Liber 777. So in voodoo systems, the Maras or twins are symbolized by a fever, which incorporates the 3 pillars of the tree of life. In Cults of Shadow, I've reproduced an illustration of this fever by Michael Bertio, who has added the crossed baton of the magical Saturn or Guidi Nibbo so as to produce the model for the pathways of the Voltigers. They can jump, so that's what I do, as well as the pathways for the secret schools of voodoo initiation. This is of vital importance, for it demonstrates the points at which the leapers behind the tree traverse the gulfs of space without using the tunnels of Set, thus jumping the interseas as they leave one dimension and enter another. So once you get the power of jumping, you can simply just decide where you want to go without fighting your way through the monsters of the tunnels. Hence, of course, my orb with my vortex, vampire vortex, all powered by a high priestess of the Illuminati. That's why, of course, I got her promoted to be the queen, so she could then be fed to me. Next, of course, we go to number 8. One over the chariot. Charasith. You got that? Chariot. Oh. So this is the entity that rules that tunnel of Set. Let's see where number 8 is. Charasith. Yeah, Charasith. Cheers. Got that wrong. Confused me again. So Urians is over that side. Been following the book. That's it. That's the one there. We got it right now.
There we go.
Confuses even me. There we are. So here we find the inverse of the Holy Grail, called the Cup of Consolation. That which consoles the adept on the path of Chet is the Graal of Our Lady. Such is the nature of this chalice, which yields both ecstasy and magical immortality, that its colours are highly addictive. Should the adept linger over long in this tunnel, the addiction becomes obsessive and he runs the risk of becoming a vampire. Oh dear. Oh dear. Draining cup after cup of the hell broth distilled by the great harlot, the mother of abominations. That's Lilith. Who yields eagerly to the dark desires of those who are drunk on the wine of her fornications. So in this path we find the Cup of Consolation and the Grail of the Lady, which confers on black brothers like myself ecstasy and magical immortality, but it's highly addictive, and when this addiction becomes obsessive, you run the risk of becoming a vampire. So it explains my real vampire technology, and it's found there between the Universe B Binar and Universe B Gabora. The formula of this Kala is Cani Linctus, which, if it exceeds the proper limits, leads not only to death of the partner, but also of the magician himself. The order of Klipoth inhabiting the tunnel of Charasis is therefore known as Shishirion the Black. The African god Loco is a denizen of the tunnel of Charasis. He is the god of forest who, together with Elare Ojun Biku, evil spirits of jungle and desert, contrives to enter the wombs of women in order to be born into the human life wave. So all of the light workers and Freemasons, Illuminati, Rosicrucians, OTO, witches, all of their babies are being possessed by entities when they go into the tunnels of Set. And they always go into the tunnels of Set because they're using the wrong Kabbalistic tree. So cut there. What are we up to now?